Was this book passionate? Yes. Was it steamy? Yes. Was it intense? Yes. Did it have drama? Of course it did. Of course it did. Hi wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel, Book Craze with Giselle. What's up with the scene? I hope you are doing well. Listen, I am so happy for all my new subscribers. So for those who have subscribed, thank you. And for those who have not, what are you waiting for? I do bookish videos, bookish related content, and I basically talk about romance books. I love romance books, every subgenre of romance books. So if you like that, then you can subscribe to my channel. Today, I realize I like to repeat myself, but anyhow, today I'm going to talk about Marriage of Convenience. Yes, a good romance book. Like, listen, who have not read a romance book that was based on a marriage of convenience story? If you have not, then you are seriously missing out on a really phenomenal, exciting read. And you know something? You can keep watching to know some really great books that you should try if you have not read a marriage of convenience story. Anyhow, some of these books may border a bit on arranged marriage. An arranged marriage, like you don't really have a choice. Someone picks who your spouse is going to be and you're basically forced to marry that person. Whereas a marriage of convenience, it is beneficial to the persons that are going to get married, and they're agreeing to it for their own personal gain in some form or fashion, whether it is some type of business arrangement or some type of political gain or some type of practical gain. At the end of the day, they are committed to doing something, committed to this marriage or getting into this marriage, and it is not for love. If you want to hear more and you want to know what books made this marriage of convenience list, keep watching and make sure to like my video. So let's get into it. Let's start discussing some marriage of convenience books. First up, and I recently read this book, I think back in March or something like that, and I absolutely loved it. I gave this book 5 stars. Can you imagine that? I think this is the first book that I gave 5 stars to in 2021, and it is Forever After All, written by Catharina, Maura. And yes, it is a marriage of convenience. In this book you have Elena and Alexander, and I realized for some reason a lot of the books that I love, the heroines are always named Elena. Like, really, think about it. If you have been watching my video, I am sure at least every other video has a book where the heroine name is Elena. In this book you have Elena, and basically she is from a wealthy family. However, she has used up all of her money to keep her mom on life support. Her mom was in a terrible accident, and because of that, she used all of her trust fund to keep her mom on life support. You're asking about her other family members. Her dad moved on, was remarried. Her brother wanted no part, so it was just basically her really trying to keep her mother alive, and she believed deep down and within her heart that her mother would survive. And in comes Alexander. She meets Alexander at a party that she went out to celebrate her birthday, because she really doesn't do anything much. Her life is basically centered around her mom. She meets Alexander. However, Alexander cannot remember her, and what she did, she gave Alexander her middle name. And Alexander was so interested. He was like, who is this woman? I need to find out more about her. But however, something came up and she immediately needed to leave without exchanging numbers. Elena is faced with making a very difficult decision because her mom is in need of additional care that she cannot afford. And so she decides to go to a gentleman's club in a way of making money. And who does she meet? She meets Alexander and Alexander's brother, And he's like, he's surprised that he sees her there. And he's like, I know you from somewhere. And, you know, they reconnect. And Alexander makes this proposal in that if you marry me, I will provide the funds to take care of your mom. You will not have to worry for anything financially. And what Alexander gains from this is he would become the CEO of his family's company, because he cannot become the CEO without having a wife. So that is the proposal. And let me tell you, this book is so good. This book is so good because there's so much unexpected things. There's so much. There's this plot twist. I'm telling you, I did not expect it. This plot twist freaking blew my mind. Honestly, I do not want to spoil this book. If you have not read it, you need to. They do get married, and everything that Alexander promised happens. She's able to reconnect with him and his mom because they were always close. And I'm not going to say anymore, but I'm going to say that the mother did wake up from her coma. And when that happened, let me tell you, all the secrets and lies and deceitfulness all came out in the open. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there, right? And yes, they initially married to gain something, like they each had something to gain, but you know what always happens, right? Emotions come into play, right? And let me just say, Alexander had a tough time, had a really tough time gaining back his wife, gaining back his love, the love of his life. But anyhow, let's go on to the next book. I'm telling you, this one was so good. Are you enjoying this video so far? If you are, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Oh, Giselle, you need to get back to your list of books. I also have another book written by this author, and it is The Tie That Binds. Yes, this book is another phenomenal story written by Catharina, Maura. Listen, in this book, in this story, it is centered on Alyssa and Daniel. So Alyssa is forced to marry Daniel, but it's not like an arranged marriage. However, her father on his deathbed asks that she marries Daniel. And Alyssa, she's left with no choice, because if she does not marry Daniel, then all her father hard works is for nothing, and all the shares, the company shares, goes to her absent grandmother, and eventually she's just gonna lose everything, right? So again, she marries for financial gains, and let me just say, and she marries for practical reasons, and let me just say that she has to remain married to Daniel for 5 years or until her 25th birthday. Now this is going to be a challenge, right? This is going to be a challenge. Was this book passionate? Yes. Was it steamy? Yes. Was it intense? Yes. Did it have drama? Of course it did. Of course it did. So this is another really exciting book, and I'm so happy that I came across this author. I love her writing. Her books are really well written. They are fast-paced, they are entertaining, and it just grabs you, it just hooks you from the first chapter that you just can't help but want to read more. They are page turners. Definitely check out her books. Next up, I have Bound by Duty by Cora Reilly. Like, of course this book would have made this list, right? For some, they would see it as an arranged marriage. So yes, this marriage is arranged between Dante, who is the head of the Chicago mafia or the Chicago mob, and Valentina's dad. Yes, it is arranged. However, I see this as a marriage of convenience. One, Dante was previously married, and being the head of the Chicago mob, he needs a wife, right? And then Valentina, she was married previously, however, her husband died. So it's like she's still young, but not that young. And because of that, she is not what you would call marriage material because she's used, she's not pure. That's how they see it. However, she is pure. I'll get into that after. So I see this as more of a marriage of convenience because they both get something out of it. One, she's going to marry someone high up in the mob. Two, there's a lot of prestige coming with that. Three, she doesn't have to marry someone extremely old because one of her close friends married someone that was way older than her, very big age gap, and she was abused. So Dante being a bit younger, she was all for that. Yes, there's an age gap between Valentina and Dante, but it's not that huge, like to say like 20 years. No, it's not that big. So I really love this book with Valentina and Dante. He is still grieving the loss of his wife because he did marry for love in his first marriage, and now this is just for convenience. And Valentina, when she got married, unfortunately, her husband was gay, and he used that marriage to cover the fact that he's gay and in the mob, because they would kill you in the mafia if they find out that you were gay. And so within her relationship, she was never touched, she was pure, and Dante was surprised by this. Let me just say, Dante was a hard nut to crack. He was a difficult nut to crack in that he was so hanged up on his first wife that he really wasn't giving Valentina an opportunity to really get to know him and to, you know, get to know one another. No, he didn't have that. He didn't want that. He just wanted the convenience of having someone else there because he didn't have a choice, right? That he didn't want anything from her. So listen, this book, anyway, if you know Cora Reilly, Born in Blood Mafia Chronicles, if you've read any of her books, then you know what I'm talking about. You know what to expect from her books. This book is great. This book is awesome. Like Dante and Valentina, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Like, it was a slow burn, but then eventually Dante got obsessed. Like, you know, he got obsessed. I love this book. And there's also a part 2 or a continuation of their story. But listen, we're focusing on the marriage of convenience part. So yeah, so this is definitely one. If it's one book that you have to read. So let me tell you something, right, that I should have mentioned. Dante basically was ignoring Valentina. He ignored this woman, and she did things to get his attention and to get him out of the fact that he was grieving his wife. And let me tell you, that is a challenge. It was a really big challenge for her, but she was successful. She was. And this is what made this story so interesting. And the fact that Valentina, she just wasn't giving up. She also became involved in some of their dealings. They have a casino, and she basically got involved in that and helping to run that, which is unheard of in the Chicago outfit. So this is one of the things that really got me with this book, had me intrigued with this book. I absolutely loved Valentina's personality. There was nothing about her that annoyed me. Loved it. You know, sometimes they can just be like really annoying, but yes, she was sweet, but she was also mature, which I absolutely loved about this book. So yeah, make sure and read this one. Another good book that follows this trope is Blame It on the Champagne, written by Fiona Cole. I really like this story. It is one where the heroine in her family, the female cannot run the company. So if there's a female born, they basically have to marry, and her husband is the one who would become the CEO and run the company. And with Vera, the heroine in this story, she couldn't handle that. She wasn't about that. She went to school, she studied, and she could more than successfully run her father's shipping company. She decides, okay, since she can't work there, she's going to work for another smaller company where they're not really going to know her name or anything like that. She uses a fake name, and she gets hired by Nico. Nico is out for revenge. So they took over his grandfather's company and destroyed it, dismantled it, and because of that, Nico is out for revenge. She has this opportunity. She's hired by Nico's company. He doesn't know who she is. She's very successful in what she's doing. In terms of working, she's excellent at what she does. And her father, out of nowhere, decides that she's going to marry this particular person who, when she meets them, she isn't thrilled by their behavior, isn't thrilled by the fact that they want to treat her as if she's a nobody, isn't thrilled by the fact that he is going to be abusive. She's sad, she's broken, and so she decides to reach out to Nico and arrange for them to be married. And in doing so, she explains who she is. And Nico sees this as an opportunity, and boom, they get married. They get married. However, Nico did not entirely say why he was interested in getting married. No. He did not say exactly why he was interested in getting married or marrying her specifically, or went along with her plan. And that is where you have like so much drama coming into play. But anyhow, this marriage of convenience, because you know what? They both had something to get from this marriage. They both had something to get. Nico knew exactly what Vera was getting, but Vera did not know what Nico was getting. Which makes it good, right? Which makes it good. So yes, so this Blame It on the Champagne, it was really good. It wasn't what I expected, but this story, great marriage of convenience. Like, some things I wasn't expecting. It was good. It was good. Definitely check this out. I really enjoyed Blame It on the Champagne. So yes. So Children of the Vice, written by J.J. McAvoy. This book is hot. This book is hot, and it continues from Ruthless People. Like, if you have read that scene, you would know I absolutely love that book. It is one of my favorite books, and soon you are going to see copies of that book on this shelf, right? You're going to see copies of those books there. So Children of the Vice, this is book 1 in Children of the Vice series, and it is with Ethan, and Ethan is their first son, the first son of Liam and Melody. Oh, okay, their first child. So he is now going to be the head of the Irish Italian mafia family. However, he can't become the boss without being married. So in Ruthless People, you had where there was an arranged marriage, right? And the same thing is going to happen to Ethan, but Ethan decides no, he wants to marry someone else. Yet the thing is, Ethan is very strategic, he is smart, he is a planner, he is a master manipulator. So he's like, no, I don't want an arranged marriage. He wants to marry someone that would be beneficial to his cause. And in comes Ivy. So Ivy is from another crime family. However, she hates Ethan's family because she believes that they are the reason why her family's dead and the reason why she has spent 6 to 7 years in prison. Right? So this marriage of convenience, when Ivy realizes that the Callahans are not responsible for the death of her family and for her imprisonment, she willingly enters this marriage with Ethan because she has to get her revenge, right? And Ian has his reasons for doing so. Now I'm going to tell you, I can't spoil everything. I can't tell you everything. You have to read it too, right? I can't give you all the spoilers. Just note that this book, it is good. And if you have read Ruthless People, then you know Children of the Vice is hot. That things are sizzling between Ethan and Ivy. Yes, so you need to pick up this one. You need to read this because it is good. You don't have to take my word for it, you know. You could go check out reviews and see for yourself, but I'm just saying that it is good. And the thing is, with Ethan being a puppet master, you know that things are just going to play out in a particular way But you know something that he doesn't anticipate? He doesn't anticipate falling in love with Ivy. And I would say no more. I would say no more. You read the rest. Okay? You read the rest. Next book, baby. I'm just saying that if you don't know by now, I love reading Bethany's Chris books. Okay? Full stop, period, whatever. I love reading her books. This book, Dante, it is the third book in the Marcello or the Filthy Marcellos. Like, if you have not read that series, where have you been, girl? Where have you been? The Filthy Marcellos, it is a phenomenal story in a phenomenal series, and then there are spin-offs and novellas off of that series. It is hot, right? It is hot, and that is the series that caught me on to Bethany Chris. But anyhow, back to my marriage of convenience list. So Dante is basically the next person in line to be the mob boss or to be the Don of the Marcello's Casa Nostra. He's next in line to be the Don of the Marcello's crime family, and he needs a wife. So he cannot become the Don until he has a wife. He cannot become the boss until he has a wife. So you know what he has to do? He has to get a wife. But Dante doesn't want any wife. He doesn't want any wife. First of all, they must be Italian. That is one of the criteria. And here is where you meet Catharina. She is the queen, right? She's the queen pin. She did not have it easy growing up. She basically runs the game. She runs her shit tight. However, she's in need of a king, right? She needs help. Dante needs her to become the boss. So boom, you have a marriage of convenience because both of them are going to get something out of it. And Dante, let me tell you, Dante, to me, he's a nice man. He's a nice man. However, Dante is hot. Dante is a planner. Dante is a man that knows to get what he wants and how to get it. He is always a step above or a step in front of everyone else. That is why he's next in line to become the boss. And he knows the fact that getting with Catharina, she in her own right is bringing something to the table that he requires. Like, she has her own clientele, she has her own assets, she has her own contacts, and he's going to need those contacts from that queen pin. So you have a boss, you have a don, you have a king, and you have a queen. And when they come together, it is so good. It is so, listen, it is good. I can't even find the words to say what I want to say, but know that within the story, things get messy. Things are not always as they seem within a story, and that is exactly what you get. You have action in this, you have suspense in this, and Dante and Catharina makes a phenomenal power couple. That is what you get here. You have a power couple, and this is what they wanted. They both got what they wanted out of this marriage. So love it. Love it. It's dirty, it's filthy, and that is what you get from the Filthy Marcellos. Like, that's what you get. Last on my list, but not less of a favorite of mine, is Tilde by Bella Jewel. You have Tilde Part 1 and Tilde Part 2. In this book, you meet Marcus and Katia. Katia basically works a 9 to 5. She works for quite an insufficient amount of money. Like, the coins aren't that a lot, and she's responsible for taking care of her mom. Her mom had some type of brain injury, and now she's left like in a wheelchair, and she relies on Katia to help take care of her. Katia, her mom is all that she has, so she works just to take care of her mom. And in comes Marcus. Marcus, he is the heir to a company. However, he cannot own the company unless he marries. So he needs to find someone who would fit the bill of what he needs in his life. And that is where you have Katia. On a night out, she's partying. Her friends decide to, to tell her to, just let her hair down and just let loose. And Marcus sees her. gets to know her, and he's like, yes, I have found the one. And he makes Katya fall in love with him and marries her. But he marries her for the convenience of getting control or full control of the company. There is a clause though, because he has to be married for a year. However, Katya finds out before the year is up and she runs away. When she's gone, Marcus realizes that he is in love with her, and yeah, that is how the story goes. Let me just say, it is really good. I don't want to go too into details in this book. I would love for you to read it and discover everything on your own. But let's just say, when Katya ran away, she had hoped that one, he would lose his company. Two, she didn't realize that it wasn't just her alone running away. Yes, she left with her mom because he did take care of her mom and he gave her the financial stability that she did not have, which is something that she gained from the marriage. When she left, she was also pregnant. She ran away, she left all her cats, and he was just going out of his mind trying to find his wife. When he finally locates her, I wouldn't say it's too late, but she discovers that she has like other family members, and now he really has to fight to win her back. Love this book, love it, love it. So that brings me to the end of my list, or to the end of the books or my favorite Marriage of Convenience romances or Marriage of Convenience stories. Let me know if you have read any of these books, if you enjoy them, if you have others that you can suggest. I will definitely read them. I'm always looking for my next exciting read, and I'm always looking forward to sharing some exciting books that I've read that I think everyone should read because they're just that good. So that brings me to the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed this, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my video, hit that notification bell so you know when I post a video. Follow me on my social media accounts. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can also follow me on Goodreads, and you know what to do. Look out until I post another video.